Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, for episode 380 of the Massenomics Podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, absolutely nothing. And my name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
We got a very special episode planned today. We've got a special guest, Big Nitro from American Gladiator, so that's going to be extremely exciting. I'm pumped to get him on here and hear from him. In addition to that, it is we're going to announce winners of the Jefferson Deadlift contest that's just wrapping up right now. And then in addition to that, it is when this episode comes out, it is Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic Meat Week.
It's Meat Week, baby.
Yeah. It's finally here. I remember when we started this thing, it's like, oh, that's never going to come. And
dude,
bam.
It really did. It felt like it was so far away forever. So the fact that it's Meat Week, man, time flies, right? It's like they always say, the RP 10 days are long, but the mesocycles are the mesocycles.
They go by fast.
Yeah.
They go by damn fast. And we are here. So we are going to hit on all of that, of course. But first, I want to tell you about JUGGERNAUT AI, and this is what a lot of people have been doing with their training leading up to the Massenomics Powerlifting Meet. We've got several of our supporting members that utilize this and several Massenomics gym members, and I said it the other week, and I'll say it again. There's been a number of people at the gym that have got on this in preparation for the meet that's coming up this week, and a number of them all made the same comment that they just wish they would have got on it sooner. I was just talking to someone that was new to Massenomics Gym. That was yesterday. She was in there lifting, and she got on JUGGERNAUT AI for this meet, for our meet, and she said she's crushing her numbers. She's hitting PRs here just in prep, in her peaking in preparation for the meet. So,
and you know that Tanner's not lying, because if he was telling a lie, he wouldn't have used a woman as the example person.
That's true, because that would be obviously a lie. They'd be like, oh yeah, like there was a woman at the gym. So check out JUGGERNAUT AI. When you do, the most important part is use discount code Massenomics. That'll save you 10% for the lifetime of that membership. And when you sign up through your web browser, juggernautai.app. That's where you can use the discount code.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars, and more specifically, their brand new 29mm power bar. Massenomics Gym is soon to be home to one of these fancy new 29mm.
I think it's on the way.
Okay, I was going to say, is it here yet? I didn't know if we were turning this into a live testimonial.
I think it's on the way.
But if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, you know that we're big fans of the Texas Power Bar, and that Texas Power Bars is a huge supporter of the Massenomics Podcast. We love the original Texas Power Bar. I'm assuming we're going to love the new 29mm Texas Power Bar. We like the squat bar. We like the deadlift bar. And we also like them all in all the different finishes they come in, whether that's Cerakote, black zinc, bare steel, chrome, whatever you got. You can't go wrong with the Texas Power Bar. So to learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
And our first generation Texas Power Bar came in this week.
Right.
Although you can't buy one of those from the site, so this episode really isn't brought to you by the first generation Texas Power Bar.
You got to be a real fan to know about that.
Yeah. So that thing's pretty sweet. The first gen Texas Power Bar.
Have you got some lifting in on it?
I haven't used it yet. I've unboxed it and put it in there, but actually today I'm going to use it.
So what was just holding it though? How did the knurling feel like in comparison to a new bar?
Like when I took it out, my initial reactions were strong as a house.
Okay,
I would say
it's not just marketing.
Best knurling, strong as a house. It looked. I guess I'd say maintenance free.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Trying to go through all that stuff without laughing, but no, it was good. No, the knurling's not as good as the 40-year-old barbell knurling is not as good as
and that's kind of what I assumed.
Power bar.
But I didn't know if it still had like a little bite to it.
A little bit, not on the outsides though, where it would sit in like a squat rack.
Yeah.
It's pretty well smoothed over there, pretty good, like you would like ours are that have just been used for like 8 years. So, but yeah, it's decent. It's I don't feel like it was probably ever as sharp as the current Texas Power bars, but it's hard to tell. It's so old, so old. It's in really good shape though.
It's funny seeing those bars before they had end caps, when they just had kind of that.
It
like
looks
solid metal cap on it.
Yeah, that part of it definitely looks a lot different. But I did order a little more bar storage actually, so we got.
It's a good move.
Got more bars coming all the time, so
gotta have a safe space for them.
Yeah, it is Massenomics Meet Week, and if you've been listening to the Massenomics podcast for the last 7.5+ years, you probably thought those guys are never going to put on a powerlifting meet.
Those idiots
it's not true.
Can never figure that out.
They'd never be capable of it. Well, just wait long enough with Massenomics, everything happens, and this is actually going to happen. The next time we record, we'll probably be talking about how we just had the powerlifting meet of the century.
Well,
right?
I was trying to think about that though. Are we? Because technically,
that's true.
I think we have to record one more, so people are going to have a
that's
cliffhanger in between.
That's true. Okay, you're right.
And then they'll just have to listen to us talk about the powerlifting meet for the next 5 weeks after that.
And this week, and a little bit like the last 10 weeks. So
true. So, but for us, actually,
though.
this is as far as time goes.
Right. It's crunch time. It's crunch time.
Cannot hold anything back now. I know some people were holding things back for the last 26 weeks, but now
if you've been holding back, now is not the time to hold back any longer.
It's funny how many countdowns there were for the meet being like 180 days out and all that.
Oh.
And it really did feel like it would never get here, but
it is crazy how it's just you wake up one day and it's like, oh crap. Things seem to be coming together. No major hitches in our giddy up just yet. We're on track, I think.
Still,
we got some work to do.
Still riding one horse with one ass so far.
Yeah, we each got a horse and we each got one ass, and we're using them to the best of our abilities.
That's good right there. I know. So looking forward to the meet. First, I am just so excited for the whole thing. I really am.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm excited for the lifting. It's going to be so fun, but I'm so excited to meet all of these people. A lot of them have met before, but then there's a lot of them have not met before. And I'm very excited for that. It's going to be so much fun. And I know, Tanner, we always talk about this on our way to the Arnold, that we know there's people that we know their handle, we know their profile picture.
Yeah.
But then you meet them in person and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And I know that's going to happen to me multiple times.
Maybe I'll make us flashcards so we can go through. It'll be on one side, it'll be handle. On the other side, it'll be a picture of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. That's Ginger Beard Hercules _76. Okay, yeah.
And so, I want to get that out in front, that I know there's going to be people that I'm like, oh, I don't know who you are, and they're going to introduce yourself to me. I'm sorry in advance, but I'll get it all figured out eventually. Tanner's better with those names than me because he's always chatting with everyone on Instagram, so he has a little more back and forth with all that. But
I don't think I'll be perfect. I know I won't be perfect, but I should get a lot of them right. So don't be offended if I don't. After this week, though, after the event, we'll never forget you.
It's locked in the old spank bank, right?
Yeah. Be permanent. After this weekend, you'll all be permanently stored in our spank banks.
I love it.
You drinking anything over there?
I am.
What do you got?
A crispity cold lime LaCroix.
Oh, hello.
What do you got?
I got
That's a
silly
cup
pint.
That's a cup with a spoon in it.
A Massenomics silly pint. I've got some creatine in
Oh,
here. Today I'm going to
juice.
officially try to get on the creatine. And what I'm using this is a throwback. I'm using some Fusion Sports Performance.
Oh, there you go.
That I've had in my cupboard. That's how long it's been since I've taken creatine, is since when Fusion Sports Performance was a sponsor of the show.
So I'm having like flashbacks right now because I remember when I made the confession that I was on creatine like 4 months ago. I probably took it for another week after that. It has not not even entered my brain that I ever took it until I saw you doing this right now. That's why I'm so bad at it.
That's why I'm saying this is my first day of it, and it might be my last day.
Is it just as good
And
as
this
you
isn't
remember?
a Massenomics Silly Pint, another throwback. Maybe someday, maybe we would have Silly Pints again. Who knows? Could be any day, maybe someday.
It could be. Speaking of that, we're also meat people going to the meet. We
Yep.
are going to have some exclusive items for them there.
We do. Some
So-
highly exclusive items.
So be on the lookout for that. I mean, obviously there's going to be the meat T-shirt. We have all the competitors are going to get one, but we have enough for your wife, sons, daughters, parents, grandparents, extended family to all buy one. So
Yep.
everyone can get one to say that they really were there for the first one. And then we have a couple other exclusive items for people at the
Yep.
meet. They're not in huge
true.
quantities, so it is possible they could sell out. If they don't sell out, we will put whatever's left online. So if you aren't able to make the meet, there's a chance you might be able to grab something online. But we're hoping.
And we are having some stuff for sale there that will not appear online, though.
Yes.
It will be meat only.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, there's going to be some fun stuff there.
Yeah. So the full Massenomics booth will be there in all its glory. It will be a full Arnold-styled Massenomics booth display right here in western northeast South Dakota. Tommy, anything else that we need to hit on the meet now, or we can? We'll probably have a few things, but we're obviously we're really excited to see everyone. It's going to be really fun. It's going to go by way too fast, and then we'll all probably already be planning for next year.
Yeah,
we know it.
that is going to. And also, I'm very, very, very excited for the after party.
Yes.
I haven't had it in my head. I'm not even sure I actually had it in my head at any point this year that like tonight's the night I'm going to really cut loose. But
Tonight's the night.
but the night of the meet, oh yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
The zoo,
Can't hold anything back then, can
no,
we?
can't hold anything back at the zoo. It's going to be just like the glory days.
Yes. That it will be.
So I guess can't wait to see everyone. Safe travels. Don't hold back.
We're going to get our drink on. Should we go over our Jefferson deadlift?
Let's do it.
We ran our most successful in terms of entrance. This was our most highly participated contest ever that we've done at Massenomics. And we've done many a contest before, and we had more submissions this time than we've ever had before.
Blew
in the Jefferson
the
Deadlift
record
contest.
out of the water.
Yeah, we did, that was super cool to see. Oh boy, where to start on this thing even? That's the tricky part. There was a shitload of submissions, a lot of good ones, and like we stated before, we're awarding prize to the heaviest Jefferson deadlift, to 3 random winners, and if I'm not mistaken, we're just going to pick those randomly right on this episode,
On the
right,
fly.
Tommy?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm
we're
going to
so we
random
don't even know.
number generator in Google. It's so random, I don't even know what thing we're going to use.
And then we have selected our favorite winner, and that Tommy and I pre-selected that, so we already know the answer to that one. So exciting news is coming at you. And a lot of times we tease everyone. We have our supporting members that are listening live along with the show, and we many times in the past we cut them off right before we announce the winners.
To be continued.
And today we're actually going to let them in on who the winners really are right here on the podcast.
So they're almost going to know a full week in advance to all the regulars out there.
So we're going to save our Massenomics favorite for last. That's going to be the last announcement. Should we do the random ones first? Or I could announce the heaviest one. That one was no surprise, really. Deadliest Lift, Big Mark, who's been on the Massenomics podcast before. He deadlifted a Jefferson deadlift, 875 pounds. And that was the founding daddy lift is what we're calling that one, because I think he said something like founding daddy at the top of the lift. And that did beat Josh Bartlett, who did an 806 Jefferson deadlift, who's coincidentally he's 4th on the all-time Jefferson deadlift list. So we did see some huge pulls in here. Other big ones, I think the next biggest was Nick Lombardi, crew member. He pulled 685. So impressive lift there. There was There were several in the 600s. There was a big Alex that pulled 600. Big Jonathan pulled 628. There was 661. Who did 661? That was on here. Well, anyways, there were several in the 600s. But Big Deadliest Lift did win 875 pounds, so he will be walking away with $222 in $2 bills.
I like the idea that he can just Jefferson 870 plus like almost any day of the week. That's just a thing, that he's always ready for.
He was keeping me up to speed on the live play-by-play as he was warming up, and he said thought he was feeling pretty good, so he was going to be able to do something pretty heavy.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
Did not disappoint, did he?
No, he did not. And
so,
like always, the empty ceiling tile where the ammonia goes into
classic.
is great. I love it.
Yes, classic. Okay, so random winners.
Should we do some
try
randoms?
That? Do you
Okay.
got something?
We're both looking
I don't
at the
have
same-
numbers on mine, so you'll have to.
Oh, on the Excel list? Okay.
I just have my old snail printout copy.
Is now the time to tell you I actually built an elaborate those things where the balls are all floating in the air and I push the button and one ball
great.
shoots out. I made it just for this. So here. And the first number is 65. 65.
I wish it would have been 69.
Okay, 65 goes to, and I do promise that this is not rigged. 65 goes to Kevin_RSG_18 with a
big
lopsided
Kevin.
247-pound deadlift.
Well, he did claim that as a world record on the lopsided, so I guess he's rewarded for his world record here.
He is. That was pretty good. I thought that one was very noteworthy. It was fun. It messes with your brain seeing things that lopsided. He had, what did he have on each side?
247 pounds total. I don't know what the.
So it was probably
I think it was probably one plate on one side and like 3 plates on the other, and plus 3 plates plus on the other.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looked really. He was all the way holding basically Jefferson, doing the Jefferson.
That was good.
His
good
hands basically
creativity
on the collar. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that before in a Jefferson, so that is a first.
So you got Kevin marked. I'd hate to forget who these people are.
Yep, I've got Big Kevin, one of our winners, and he's going to be walking away with $40 in $2 bills plus $60 in Massenomics merch. I don't know if we decide what that merch is or we let them help. That's TBD.
All right, we ready for
That's for the winners to know.
Are we ready for the next number here?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hit the generate button on Google once again. Boo, 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 boo. We are at number 52. Which number 52 is Lou Nutter. Shot a fireball red and blue kilo plates.
Supporting member Big Lou.
I like that both of these are supporting members, and it's even supporting members that I have met before so far.
Big Lou, and Big Lou will be competing in the meet here this week also. So maybe we can just give him his $2 bills in person.
In person, yeah.
He's going to spend them all at the zoo, isn't he?
Right.
I'll be like, how many fireball shooters can you buy with $40 in $2 bills?
I think, these drunk people are paying us in fake money. What's going on here?
Like, why do all these people have $2 bills?
What's going on? Yeah.
Be like, we don't have a spot in the till for these. One more random winner.
You ready for it?
Let's do it.
Do you think the third one will be a crew member again? It almost
a lot of the submissions are
they
crew
were.
members,
I mean,
so it's not
statistically, your chances are very high. You could be a crew member. But all right, I'm hitting the button.
Right.
It's going. Lucky number 13 goes to the _Kurt Locker.
Oh, another supporting member.
That's right. And it's funny when I look at the numbers, how we have these numbered. Even the people above and below are also supporting members. So it's just
he did the 545 on the Mammoth bar.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was an interesting, visually good, a visually appealing lift also. Mm-hmm. So that's a good winner.
That is okay.
I'm happy with those random winners.
Oh yeah, those are great random winners. Yeah. We didn't even have to fudge those at all. Those are just straight up awesome people. Okay, with that Mammoth bar, is that actually a Mammoth bar? Are those like attachments he has that does that?
I think that those are attachments, but I'm not sure.
Do you know how those work actually?
I don't really. I think they slide. if I have to guess, I think they slide all the way on the collar, you know, up to the edge of the sleeves. And then I don't know if they tighten with like a set screw or if that's, I would think it wouldn't take that much. It wouldn't have to be secured that well if it's got the entire surface area of the sleeve that it's covering.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be my guess. I don't know that. I'm actually just making that up.
I'd have to get those on the...
That's just how I assumed those were.
Oh, yeah. It makes total sense. Might have to get those on the shopping list for the gym.
That's true. I mean...
it's one of those weird things that's not down there.
And we don't have it, so I do immediately like it.
I can only imagine some people trying to rig those up, though.
That's true, too. That's always has to be a concern. Is this someone that if you don't know how to use it, they can wreck anything by using it?
Wreck something or seriously hurt themselves.
So that's our 3 random winners. Now we're getting to the moment everyone's been waiting for. You know, the official number. What's really the name of this? The Massenomics favorite.
Yeah, Massenomics favorite. I think we've used several different names over the last couple of weeks, but.
And I just want to, as we're getting to this, I want to mention some things that stuck out to me. Big Eddie had the honor of first. He was first submission. Big Scott Dodds, I really liked his submission with his special. He had his Tommy plates.
Is plate snacks?
Plate snacks, yeah.
That was really good. I liked that a lot.
Big Grant, sponsor of the podcast, got involved doing a tandem one with Big D. I liked that. I liked, you brought it up, the guy, Deadlift Daddy Diagoli.
Yeah.
He did the crazy yoke wagon wheel set up in a Speedo.
He's in a Speedo in both of them. But yeah, the one on the yoke, and he's on some table platform. We didn't know what that was, right? You still don't know what that platform thing is.
I don't know. It was quite the elaborate setup.
He had another one with the red, white, and blue bands, and that was really cool too. So I liked both of those a lot.
Yeah. I liked Jonathan Oldham did the it was 628 pounds, which is a lot, but then like the teabagging element with the drink spotter was really good. That was a well thought out addition to that video, I think. Big Murph, she did the Washington D.C. medley. That was cool. Big Nate, Big Nate's was a former past winner here, multi-time winner. He did the electric guitar.
Oh, that was great. That
green
was
screened.
To me, that was such an amazing way of, all right, let's play in the rules, because I put down this constraint of try and keep it short and snappy. Don't do anything crazy like this long elaborate thing. And it was snappy, good, and entertaining. I like that one a lot. I liked.
I thought he really took the rules and did something really cool with it. You know, within the rules there.
Big Jen had her Tommy versus Thomas Jefferson meme, which I thought was hilarious. I really liked
using the Massenomics verses.
That was great.
Is always good. Big Ryan from Iowa had a couple good submissions. Like the he had most fireworks in a video because multiple of them had fireworks. I think he wins the award for most fireworks in one submission. So props to him on that. I like Big Steve was in full hockey goalie gear. Jefferson Deadlifting, which that would be challenging.
Who had their kid with the like spring or sparkler or Roman candle?
I can't remember.
I want to give them credit, but I forgot who that was too. I thought that was really funny. They're outside Jefferson doing the Jefferson Deadlift, and their kids running around with the sparkler in their hand.
Big Jeff was inside deadlifting inside Independence
Hall. That was really good too,
which is good. Then one I really liked was Big Dylan. It was the drink spotter up close hanging on the chain, and he was Jefferson deadlifting out of focus in the back.
Stained
just
was,
a very artsy.
Stained was playing.
The stain really made it feel very artsy. Then a couple that did not play within the rules that I would call out here are one, Big Daniel Dixon. He was up there for one of the longest submissions, but
and
best costumes.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
It was very funny how long their video went and the costumes they had on. That was awesome.
Yes, absolutely. So those costumes were not like the cheap $15 wig. Like those were like good costumes.
Legit, yeah. Oh, it was beer _bourbon _and barbells that had. He was Jefferson outside. Okay. Jefferson outside with his kids good. With the fireworks. Yeah.
Then setting the record when we specifically asked for I think you're quoted as saying, just do the lift.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking the record, longest video, 1 minute and 30 seconds long. Mostly squat videos, Matt.
Yeah.
Which, although not playing within the rules, that video definitely made me laugh.
Yep. Still very funny.
I really like when the statue Thomas Jefferson is talking there, and he actually deadlifted at the Jefferson Memorial. He got the strength co plates right up there. It sure looked like to me, unless there was handiwork involved, and I'm surprised he got to do that.
Yeah, you just think all these when people are bringing weights out in public that somewhere there'd be an issue with someone seeing you do that.
And I like that he brought his kids with him to do it, to turn it into a family affair, so that if he's going down, they're all going down with him.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I could go on all day about highlighting things that I thought
there
were
was lots of medleys.
Here.
We saw a fair number of medleys.
A lot of tandem lifts
medleys,
too.
tandems, creative bar usage. Those are always fun to watch. Enjoyed all
of
those.
Yeah, a couple of good medleys were Old Man Scance, of course, and then Matt Harris had a really good He did the cut where in each one he was in a completely different Massenomics outfit. And I always appreciate that, where it's like everyone was a new bar and a new Massenomics outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get to the...
I'm just looking almost at the bottom of the list just to see if I've missed anything else. No, I mean, we could, like you said, have something to say about every one of these. I just want to give credit.
Oh, I liked Travis Turner they were dressed up as me and you.
Oh, yes. That was good, too.
They had the Tanner and Tommy wigs on.
And then we've talked about, like, there was a surprising number of Jefferson's over 500 pounds.
Oh, yeah. Which is not easy, is no small feat.
No, and you do love how everyone breaks a Jefferson off the floor pretty fast. It just starts to get wonky once it about hits the knees. Some people have to take another step. You can see him doing like the weird straightening out thing. It's funny seeing how everyone's form changes on those.
Yes. So the grand winner, we have in this rundown briefly discussed the submission that we have chosen as the grand prize winner. I think this grand prize winner, first of all, they stayed within the rules, which that's an important element of the contest. Matt,
they really played into the Jefferson aspect of it as well.
They really played into the Jefferson aspect of it, didn't they? And you said just do the lift. Well, they just did the lift several times in several places, correct?
Several very key places.
Yeah. So the winner of the contest for our favorite submission, which actually gets the second best award, but still we're saving it for the last one here, is, yes, if you're playing along at home, you may have guessed it. It is Big Murph with her Washington, D.C. Jefferson medley tour, going to all the signs and all the
locations.
The last one, Jefferson Memorial's in the background there where she's getting it, and that was a winner for us, I think.
Yeah, very well done.
When
or go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No easy choice, of course, but that was in the running from the second we saw.
Oh yeah, like right away when I saw that, I'm like, wow. First of all, it just doesn't dawn on me that people live anywhere near DC. We're so landlocked in the Midwest that.
I know she lives there because I know
you do. You were just there, but it's just like the fact that people actually live around there is always hard for my brain to comprehend. And then the fact that she took advantage of that location, went to all those spots, it was great.
It was. So she is the grand prize winner, and she will also be lifting in the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. So I guess we can wait and give her prize of $100 in $2 bills.
I thought you were taking notes on this. I don't know.
$100 in $2 bills. Well, I don't know. The game's made up and the prizes don't matter. But she won. So that wraps up the Jefferson Deadlift contest this year. It was a lot of fun. Hate to see it go, but I love to watch it leave.
That's right. Until we meet again.
Yep. Until next year. We still do have a few Jefferson Deadlift tees for sale, though, if anyone's in the market.
You should always be in the market for one of those.
They're blue, if that helps you. Okay. That's a wrap on that then, huh?
Oh, closure. Wow. Didn't know if we'd ever get a winner picked.
Okay. Now, do we want to read any ads yet? Or?
I think we probably should.
Okay.
We'll read ads, and then we have a few minutes to kill, possibly, before our guest gets here. So,
which we could do maybe some little fun silly goose. We could throw in a few silly goose things in there. Okay. This week's episode is brought to you by the Strength Co. And since this is Meat Week, check out the Strength Co. at no location other than the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic Powerlifting Meet. They'll be set up with a booth there. They're going to have multiple, that's right, I said not one, maybe just two special limited edition Massenomics items for sale at the Strength Co. booth. They'll probably have some other stuff too, but I know they'll have two limited edition Massenomics items for sale that you can check out there, that you can buy. I'm excited for those items. Get my hands on them myself, for one thing. Mm-hmm. And then also, check out their plates. Head over to thestrength.co. They're made in America. Made in America. They're rugged but smooth. They got a nice lip on them, so they're easy to grip, and they just look damn good. They're the best looking made in America plates that you can find. They're the go-to plates of Massenomics Gym. Thank you, the Strength Co.
Go-to plates of the Massenomics Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic warm-up room.
Absolutely.
And there was a lot of vendors fighting for that spot, so you know they're good if we picked them. So just because you sponsor the podcast doesn't mean you're automatically in here.
We had a lot of other Tommy D Creative, where we're going to use Tommy D Creative
presentations from a lot of companies there.
Yeah.
But we did settle on the Strength Co. And it wasn't settling. We were very happy with it. And this episode is also brought to you by another sponsor and supporter of the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, and another company that will also have a booth there. That is Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement, but not Bearfoot Shoes. They're designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Tanner, won't they have, they're going to have shoes and samples right on hand, so you can get I would imagine, a personalized shoe fitting from the experts themselves.
And we won't let any bears out of any bags, but they're going to have something cool there. It's going to be great what they have there, but it's probably not our place and time to let any bears out of the bag, but you're going to want to see this. Yeah, you're going to want to see this thing.
So while you're at the meet and listening to this, make your plans, stop by their booth, try on some shoes. Once you try it on, you go, wow, I'm an idiot for not buying these earlier. You give them your money, you buy the shoes, you walk out, and you look good. So thank you, Bearfoot Shoes. Oh, and also, if you can't make it to the meet, but you still want to get in on the barefoot action, go to www.barefoot.shoes and use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Code Massenomics, barefoot.shoes. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
Thanks, Barefoot. They're great, just to put it mildly.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you had something in here about cracks.
It's almost like this is like months old. It's not even really relevant anymore. But there was like a course of 3 days of my life where cracks are really getting under my skin. Okay. And the first one happened where this could be a long story. I'll try to give the abridged version just because our guest might be coming in any minute. But
yeah.
I'm driving down the interstate. And you know when you have your cruise on and you pass a vehicle and then all of a sudden they pass you, haven't changed your speed.
And you're like, I never change speed.
Yep. And it wasn't even like we were kind of like staying neck and neck. It was like, no, someone would get like a mile ahead and then you're flying by them again. Well, this is a boat. And I'm like, it's really annoying when it's a truck and a boat because they're just
throwing rocks.
They're throwing rocks and all that. It's a pain in the ass. Well, finally, after a certain point of them going by like 3 times, me not changing my speed once, I'm like, screw it, I'm out of here. I go like 90, 95, I can't even see them in my rearview mirror anymore. Put my cruise back on. I'm like, they're gone. I don't have to worry about this. 5 minutes later, who comes flying? I'm going 85. Who comes flying by me like I'm at a standstill? This boat again. And while they're doing it, I look and there is a pullover because we have like invasive species in boats now. There is a pullover. You have to stop to get your boat checked. I'm like, damn, these guys are flying right by the checkpoint here. Like they don't care. I couldn't believe it. So they're going by me. It's not even a mile later down the road. A Game Fish and Parks vehicle also comes flying by me like 95 miles an hour, cuts right in front of me to pull these guys over. And while he cuts in front of me, cracks my windshield. And I'm like, really?
He throws a rock.
He throws a rock at me. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I could not get away from this damn vehicle. They finally, I think they're gone. And then again, I have to suffer from this. Luckily, it was a crack. It was maybe like 2 inches. And it was more
Were you
towards,
able to get it like filled or whatever?
I haven't messed with that yet, but it was more towards the center of the windshield, not like directly where you look. So, and it's also my wife's car, so it's kind of her problem now. I guess is how I look at it. So that was on like a Sunday. I think it was the next day.
At least it wasn't a golf ball.
At least, I mean, it's still
that would really suck.
Yeah, it's still very drivable. You don't have to really worry about it or anything. But then the next day, we're outside playing with the kids. My wife drops her phone, which happens. You know, everyone drops their phone, and it just completely cracks and shatters the screen, which is another pain in the ass. And it was like an iPhone 13 Pro. So, they're expensive phones, and she shattered it. At first I thought, we'll just replace the screen or whatever. Like, you pay a few $100 to do that.
Right.
Well, like, shattered so bad that the phone thought it had a counterfeit camera in it. It was like, check your camera. This is not an Apple authorized, which I didn't even know it could do that, but it was so jacked up. So then, I guess luckily enough, so then it turned out like you'd need to replace multiple things, all this. Turned out that through Verizon, they would still give you like $500 traded on it, which I'm like, that, I guess, sure, you guys take a phone for $500. So ended up getting a different phone on trade-in. Not the end of the world, but damn, goes so long without worrying about cracks, and then in 2 days, cracks just taken over.
Say no to crack. Am I right?
Crack kills.
Well, the important thing is you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson. I will not drive my wife's car, and she is not allowed to have a phone anymore. So I think we nipped both of those in the butt.
Yep. Well, that's good. I can relate to the whole crack windshield thing,
You can firsthand. But yours was like an exploded windshield, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I like it when people have shared, like in the Discord. That's just gone down as like an old fun Massenomics story lore now, the golf course thing. And I like people will share they're at a golf course and there'll be a giant sign right there that says like, yeah, there's cars over here, and if you hit them, it's going to cost you at least $500. Like that actually was on one of the signs at one of the golf course.
Yeah, puts the onus on someone there.
Yeah, I'm like, they certainly take a different approach than the golf course. That sign certainly wasn't at the golf course that I was by.
Yep. Tanner, I hate to cut you off, but our guest has arrived.
Oh, I could tell the golf course story more times later.
Let's put a pin in that one. I can't wait to hear it again. I'm just kicking everyone else out here.
All right. Big Dan, Big Nitro, we're excited to get you on the Massenomics podcast. This is a super cool experience for us because right now this is so timely. Muscles and Mayhem is, we're even talking, it's #1 show on Netflix as we speak. And you're kind of the star of the show, and we're getting you here on the podcast. So we're super pumped to talk about it.
Thrilled to be here, man. And I thought at first, I thought it was a dating show. Yeah, and I was like, mass dating. And then I realized it was you studly guys. And I was so confused. I got to talk about something I love, slinging iron, praying at the pulpit of iron, things that, my whole life has evolved around for the last, 50 years.
Yeah, it's not the first time someone thought we were dating related, and then they saw us and they're like, "Oh wow, I was wrong there."
These guys definitely don't know about dating.
Usually my date is going to the gym. I have a home gym now. That's the one daily date that I never break.
So you train at home. That's part of what we wanted to talk to you about. How is your home gym set up? Do you have a garage or a basement or a separate room? What's your setup like?
So I have a 3-car garage, and one whole section of that 3 cars is my gym. I've got the 3/4-inch horse stall mat, rubber matting.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because I still do a little CrossFit. I've got that foldable rack that goes up against the wall that gets out of the way, but I've never folded up because I don't park a car there. I've got kettlebells. I don't have much weight in there anymore. I think I've got like 400 pounds or so. I've got a couple rogue bars, a male and a female. I've got a rowing machine. I've got a Peloton bike, and I've got a Peloton treadmill on the other side that my wife uses. And I use the Peloton bike as well. And then right outside my office window here on the side of my house, I have a cold plunge, which is from the cold plunge, which is part of my daily program.
Awesome. So you have a good setup, though. You have everything you need. You have no reason to need to get to a separate commercial gym anymore.
No, well, I haven't gone to a commercial gym in a while. Look, I've been to all the Golds and Worlds and different gyms across America, and I love meeting people in gyms. And then I've done the 24-hour LA Fitness. Wherever I can get the fitness in, I get it in. And I did CrossFit for maybe 5-6 years, and maybe 7 years, and I competed as well. And I really loved the CrossFit community. I felt like some of the moves got to be a little difficult on the joints, as you get older. The snatches, the muscle ups, those got to be rough on the shoulders. So it's a mixture of body weight stuff, and you guys are going to think I'm a wimp, but in between a lot of pickleball.
Okay, no, that's a skill in itself.
Well, you know what I like to do, Tanner and Tommy, is I like to pick a skill, whether it was CrossFit and learning Olympic moves and muscle ups, something I've never done. I have the strength, I have the stamina, and I love trying to learn and perfect a new skill and trying to be one of the best in the world at it. And pickleball has been about 1.5 years. And for me, it's more than just going out and playing a game, but it's because it's very social. But for me, it's like a science. How do I get better? What's the path to getting better? Where are my weaknesses? And I even got to the point now where I have a ball machine, it just fires balls. And I go and I practice by myself. So me, it's a mental game to keep myself sharp, fresh. Because I feel as human beings, we're always working. We need to be working towards something. We need to have a goal. We need to be trying to get better every single day. And for me, that's something that's always been intrinsic. I just want to get a little better, and I need to focus my mind on that, and I need to be able to measure it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it also makes sense, things being segmented. You're not always going to have the same goals and the same desires over the course of 40 years. You're going to change, even in fitness, what you approach, how you approach it, and what you want to be able to achieve with it. And I think you've definitely had some different stages. You played, I think you played high level football, American football. Obviously, your American Gladiator stage where you're yoked, and you talk about CrossFit and now some of the other stuff you do. But where in there do you think you were? Because
pickleball. You talked about all this macho slinging on and all this stuff. You just couldn't get yourself to say the word pickleball.
The pickleball.
Technical mastery with pickleball.
Yeah. There's not a lot of guys with beards like yours in pickleball. I'll say. Just a different kind of guy. Well, a guy like Tommy's like little, I don't know what those are.
Just a little stubble, a weak, sorry attempt at something.
Yeah, stubble beards can play, but not like Tanner, big, burly guy beards. I don't see them.
No, that's too hot. So where in there were you strong? What you would consider your strongest? Was it when you were in the heat of American Gladiators? Is that when you were your biggest and strongest, or would it have been during football, or where in your career was that?
Oddly, I didn't deadlift much during football. Played college football at San Jose State. Had a brief stint up in the NFL, and I played for a year in the European Italian Professional League, which was fantastic. But the strongest deadlift I ever had was as a 49-year-old man. It was like almost 500 pounds. And it was just because we never trained the deadlift back in college, because there's an old theory, you're going to hurt your back when you deadlift. So we did more explosive movements, and we pretty much did the bench and a lot of squats. So my strongest deadlift, I think it was 478 or something, and that was when I was 50 years old.
Yeah.
My other strongest was when I was in Italy playing American football, and I was big. I think I was 262 was probably the biggest I got. That was huge for me.
And how tall are you?
6'2".
6'2". Okay. Yeah, that's a big guy.
Yeah, and the weird thing about it, and I'm sure maybe you guys have gone through this, is I was big as hell, but I still felt little. I kept thinking I got to grow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One thing about it, I played there, and let me think, maybe 87. At that time, and maybe still today, you could go into a pharmacy and you could get roids. So the stuff that I was getting here, like Parabol, and back then, I don't know what, $20, $10 a shot. Yeah, those little ampules you popped open. I could go to a pharmacy and just go buy them for $2 a piece. And so that, you're pounding Parabol and pasta and you're working your ass off. And, I got pretty big and strong. I think I benched like 460, and I was
strong.
500 for reps.
Yeah.
But when I say squatting, I wasn't doing the, CrossFit, break parallel, ass to the grass squat. I was going down to the bench, putting the bench press under me. And 500 pounds, I remember getting 6-8 reps and, still feeling like I wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, that is the quest for strength. You're never really strong enough. Once you get going, you're never big enough. You're never strong enough. So that is very relatable.
Well, I remember being a young guy, and first being, what was I, 18 years old, first being introduced to steroids. And at that time, it wasn't illegal. At that time, it wasn't in the zeitgeist. When a guy in the gym, said to me, I said, dude, you look great. What do you do? I was actually 17 and a half. And he just said, I take steroids. I was like, what is that? He says, there's a supplement that you take, you inject it. I get them from a doctor. They make you bigger, stronger. They let you recuperate faster. And I was like, what? Because now you say steroids, I was like, oh, I know what that is. Back then, I had no idea what it was. And he said, yeah, some people think Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Hulk take them, and maybe some professional football players. My doctor prescribes to all those people. So at 17 and a half, just getting injured playing football and seeing my dream of a scholarship evaporate, I just said to the guy, let's go, sign me up. And I went up to see Dr. Kerr from Orange County, California, up to where he was in Los Angeles, California, about an hour drive. And I get there and he's like, I can't prescribe to you. You're not 18 yet. Like, oh, shit. So I waited till my 18th birthday. And for some reason, I remember this figure. My dad gave me $172 to go see Dr. Kerr to pay for his visit and to get my first cycle of, steroids. And so I took it up there on my 18th birthday. And I went and saw him. I remember him taking me into his office, and he says, "Okay, this is what we're going to do." And he opens up this cupboard, and it's all these ampoules of 10 cc of testosterone cypionate. And it was just like, oh, it was like an aria. I was like, oh, and I wasn't afraid of the side effects. I was afraid they weren't going to work because I had so much of my identity wrapped up in being a football player. And he started me off on 200 milligrams of SIP along with I think it was 5 milligrams of D-ball. And he said, okay, take this. And I was like, okay. And I started to recover quickly, and I got big quickly. I was a young 18-year-old guy. And my buddy, who's the one who introduced me to him, the bodybuilder, he just said, hey, when you start to feel your gains stop, go up and talk to him, just go back up and see him and tell him like you're feeling your gains stopped. And so I think it was about 6-8 weeks. Even though I was still getting gains, my buddy prodded me to go back up there and get more. So I went back up there, and he said, okay, here, take 4 Dianabol a day now. So 20 milligrams of Dianabol, 200 milligrams of test SIP. And they said, when this stops, when you stop feeling gains on this, come back and I'll switch you up to something different, which he did. And I think it was an older drug called Anadrol 50 or something. It was another oral pill. It's waiting before your time. Yeah, it was like nobody takes orals anymore, right? So I went and did that. But I do remember this. I said, when do I go off? And he looked at me and he kind of funny. He just said, well, never. I said, what? He says, yeah, never. You don't have to go off. And even though I was a young guy, 18 and a half, when we had that conversation, I just kind of thought like, there's something not right with what he's telling me, and I think by going on the juice at a young age, and, it's not a heavy dose, as you guys know. What I'm prescribing, what I'm saying right now to you is if you go to a TRT clinic, a lot of them will prescribe 200 milligrams, and take 200 milligrams, which is way, way too much. I think it's always, if you're an adult, trying to get your testosterone levels right. I always think it's a minimal effective dosage, even if it's 40 milligrams a week, because once you open that can of worms, you open that genie, it's pretty hard to get it back in the bottle because of the testosterone suppression. So yeah, it was. It's been an interesting journey, off and on, of being a pro athlete, of going to college. And, when I was in college at San Jose State, guys, it wasn't even illegal. They weren't even testing.
Yeah.
In fact, that last year of college is when they said, hey, that this is this new drug and you can't take it. So, I mean, it wasn't like, now there's guidelines. Now there's rules. Now there's WADA. And if you go off the reservation and you take these drugs when you get caught, or even if you take these drugs, it's cheating, right? So it was just a different world. It's weird. I had some guy hit me up, I don't know if it was Instagram or Facebook or whatever it was. He said, no, you knew what steroids were when he told you when you were 17 and a half. I was like, dickwad, were you there? No, the Russians were taking them and this and that. You knew, you're lying. And I was just like, dude. Why would I lie?
It's about the open book that you are. Why is that the thing you would be lying? Why would you be like, no, this is where I draw the line. This is where I'm not going to tell the truth.
Yeah, look. When I wrote the first book, Gladiator, True Story of Rage and Redemption, I just wanted to put it out there just because it was cathartic. It was just like, I'm tired of, not being 100% transparent. And it wasn't like people knocking on my door or anybody was asking me, but it was just part of the experience of, coming full circle and the human growth. And not growth hormone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah. And, when people ask me now, I'm truthful. I take 80 milligrams of test a week. I get it from, there's a gal in Studio City. She runs an anti-aging center. Stephanie Wolf, the company's Novus. She's fantastic. She does all the blood work. She checks the follicle stimulating hormone, everything. And I try to keep my testosterone levels between 800 and 900 milligrams. Or 800 and 900. Is it milligrams or what is it on here?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't actually know. No, I don't think that's the right unit of measurement. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. 800, 900, we're on that scale.
Right.
Try to keep an optimal dose. And I get my blood work 6 times, done 6 to 8 times a year. And, what I don't like, and I think is really unfair, is when a guy's taking gear and he lies about it and he doesn't admit it, because in some way he thinks it's going to take away from his accomplishments. And everybody who's taking gear knows that you got to work your ass off to get a physique, to get strong. I've got a lot of friends, office suit guys who are taking gear at clinics, and they're like, why don't I look like you? Dude, you gotta pray at the pulpit. You gotta work. Oh, I just thought I would take him and get huge and lean, and it doesn't work that way. So what I hate is when guys are taking a little bit of gear and other guys see them who are working their ass off, doing the same workouts, but they don't look the same, because it makes that guy or girl start to feel like, man, what's wrong with me? I'm doing all the same things. I'm buying that protein powder you're pushing. I'm taking all the supplements you're saying, but I don't look like you. And it's not fair, because it makes that person feel like they're doing something wrong.
Right.
If you're taking a little gear, just, say, yeah, so what? This is what I do. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So you've gone through some unique, I would say, phases of public perception with steroids, from the early days of people almost not even knowing what they are, to then through the late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when they were really demonized. There was a witch hunt for these things across all sports. People were coming after them. And now, with social media, people are being a little more open. Like you had mentioned, TRT clinics are everywhere. There's a good chance your coworker's on it. You might not even know it. Like, do you notice that? Do you feel like public perception is changing around steroids and testosterone again?
I think it is, but I still think there's a marketing game there where TRT is not steroids.
Right. That's absolutely true
Yes.
too.
Right?
Yes.
The whole
That's a good
market.
point.
No, that's not. I'm not taking steroids. I'm taking TRT.
Right.
What? You know, well, look, for everybody listening, I know your audience knows the difference, right? You
Right.
know,
Mhm.
but like if we were on, Jimmy Fallon or somebody, he probably thinks, TRT is different than steroids.
Right.
I think dosage. Like I was just having this conversation with my significant other, and we're talking about a friend of ours. Oh no, they go to the TRT clinic. They're not on
Yeah.
steroids. I'm like, what are you talking? It's the same ingredient. Testosterone cypionate is the go-to. And so I think a lot more people are open about it. And I think that's the way it should be. But I also respect people's privacy. I think the largest growing segment of people taking testosterone, which a lot of people are not talking about, which I find is fascinating, is women. Women, I think in their 40s and 50s and early 60s, a lot of them are getting prescribed, minute amounts of testosterone. And you look at them and you have no idea. They just look like some, very attractive, woman in her 50s. And, I know quite a few, and we're friendly. And we say, yeah, my doctor's balancing my hormones, and they give me a little testosterone, either the cream, or even sometimes it's an injectable, or sometimes it's the whatever things they shoot in your butt, and they stay there for 60 days. I can't.
Right, like the pellets, I think.
Pellets, yeah. And look, I think if it helps you feel better about yourself, if it helps you lean up, if it helps you with more energy and the libido to be the best human you could be, I'm for it. I don't think, and this is an after-school public announcement, I don't think young kids should do steroids. Your bone plate's enough formed yet. And if you're playing a sport that is tested, it is cheating, don't do them. But I think it's. I'm okay with it. If you want to keep the secret, if you want to talk about, the other thing I've been into lately, which I found like in the last maybe the last 2 years, are therapeutic peptides. Are you guys familiar with those?
A little bit from hearing people talk about stuff. I think there's like it's letters and numbers is like what they like. It's HBC 157 or that's made up, but yeah.
EPC.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
For me, I want to be able to increase my health span along with my lifespan. And I've dedicated a large part of my free space in my brain to reading guys like, Peter Attia, David Sinclair, listening to Andrew Huberman, guys that are Harvard, Stanford guys who are all on that cutting edge, because, I got a lot of things I love in my life. I've got a 12-year-old stepson. I've got a 36-year-old son. I've got my brothers and sisters, and I've got so many good friends. Like I said, a lot of things I love in my life, and I want to be here. And I want to be here and also have that, health span along with my lifespan, where I can still go out and do things, So I think therapeutic peptides, along with, I've been doing some research on metformin as an anti-aging drug. It's a diabetes drug. I think 40 to 60 million people take it. But I'm no doctor. Do your own research, obviously. And but that's part of my goal. And it's not the vain idea of being immortal that I want to be here forever. It's, like I said, more rooted in there's a lot of things I love in my life and a lot of people I love in my life. And I want to be here and healthy for them, get to share time with them, for as long as possible. Because when I was a young guy, it was just about me. What can I get? What can I have? Who can I make look at me, And as I get older, I'm 59 this year. And after the heart attack 10 years ago, I think just, the perception just really changed, guys. When you have a heart attack and when you think you're going to die, which I thought I was going to, so many things you think in your life right now, Tommy and Tanner, that you think are important, just like in an instant, they have no meaning and no value. You know, my big house on the Mulholland Hills, the plaques on my walls, the German cars in the driveway. You know, in a second, they were just, when I was in that hospital and the doctors telling me they have to rush me into surgery, it just meant nothing. I'll tell you the two things I wanted to, that were most important to me. One was I wanted the people that I loved to know that I love them. One. Two, I also wanted the people I loved close to me. And at that time, nothing else mattered. And by having that experience was really a gift of a heart attack, because I feel like for the first time in my life, I got the answers to the test before the test. And based upon that, I kind of rebuilt my life with that understanding and new priorities, because when I was your guys' age, I always thought that time was guaranteed. And I realized, you know, time isn't guaranteed. And, you know, find happiness, not in those big moments, because they're rare. You know, winning the competition, selling a show on Netflix, you know, and being number one. I mean, it's rare. I sold that show 2.5 years ago. I pitched and created it and sold to Netflix 2.5 years ago. It's now on. We're number one for a week. You know, it's so rare. And if you save your happiness for those times, you're going to be unhappy 99% of the time. So the idea was I really had to learn to enjoy those simple moments of, you know, human beauty and truth. You know, the sound of your daughter or your son laughing. Mm-hmm. You know, just those things you hear about that so often in my life I would pass by. You know what I mean? Just to try to get to that next thing, to get to the next big lift, to get to that next moment. You know, you get to a point in your life where you're chasing the next bite before you finish the last.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you're on that cycle of always chasing happiness but never being happy. And eventually that switched, you know, to me for finding fulfillment. And those little simple things, you know, give me fulfillment. Do you guys know I was a legendary talker? Did anybody warn you?
That's right. Well, that's what a podcast is for.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that is a really good, that's a powerful message, and that's a good message, and it's applicable to a lot of people. But that being said, you are on a peak right now still. You know, I agree. It's great to get joy out of all the, just the regular stuff. But right now you are on a peak. Muscle and Mayhem on Netflix is number one right now. I'm seeing it kind of everywhere. You know, when you turn on your TV, it's the first thing at the top of the list.
Yes.
When I'm listening to podcasts,
yes.
Almost every podcast is mentioning. I'm hearing it everywhere. What does it feel like? Does it feel kind of like when American Gladiators originally was taking off and successful? Does it feel like that all over again? Does it feel different? What's it like?
I think, you know, they say that, you know, youth is wasted on the young, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, with time being in this place again, where you get that momentary light shined on you, I see it for what it is. You know, it's just this momentary light you get shined on you where, you know, people want you on podcasts and, you know, people slide into your DMs and you know, I can enjoy that, but I've learned to manage the expectations, you know, and just take it one day at a time. And at first it was, yeah, look, when we hit number one, my producing partner and I were like, what the fuck? Dude, we're like, dude, where's my car? Dude. I mean, we let ourselves celebrate and embrace that moment, you know, and my Kim, my significant other, you know, she's like, oh my God, people are starting to come up to you all the time when you're at a restaurant, walking at the airport. And I said, look, honey, it's going to last, you know, probably 4 to 6 weeks. Let's just enjoy it. You know, and I've been on social media a lot more because I wasn't doing a lot of social media, and I try to return every, you know, DM, you know, to somebody saying if they have enough time to say, hey, I watched your show and Netflix, and it meant a lot to me. And, you know, the part where you say, you know, you need to go get therapy and raise your hand and get help, you know, I appreciate you saying that because I was ashamed too. So if someone's got enough time to write me something, I'm going to at this point, now I'm going to go back and respond to each person personally, even if there's been a couple thousand people, so I just batch out an hour at a time. I get on my bike and just ride. But I know with most things this will pass, and it's provides me external happiness. It's a good feeling, but it's I still, like today I'm doing media again, like the 12th day, and then tomorrow I go right back to work, creating the next project. So it's you got to love the work, right? If you only live for the meet, the competition, like we talked about earlier, chasing happiness. That's all you live for, is that day on stage, or that day at the powerlifting meet, or that whatever, the CrossFit competition. If that's all you live for, and that's where your only happiness is, you're going to be unhappy 99% of the time. You got to love what you do.
Yeah.
You got to find enjoyment in what you do. Now, look, I know sometimes when you're, when I'm out there in the gym and I'm tired and I'm busting my ass, that's not fun, right? That's the misconception that all of those other people on the outside think, Tanner. They think that when you're in, oh, you love working out, it's so easy for you, right?
Yeah.
Right? When people say that, oh, it's easy.
Right. Yeah.
Right, you guys get that?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
People just think, you get to just have fun all the time. It's like, sometimes you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And look, if I was to break down the success to one simple ability, it would be the ability to get yourself to do the shit that you need to do when you don't feel like it, when you don't want to, when you're tired, when your friends are calling something else. If you can get yourself to do stuff that you don't want to, but that you need to do, and I have no doubt, no matter what endeavor you choose in life, that you are going to be successful. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree completely.
Yeah. So when you were working on the show, I mean, takes a lot of work, a lot of time, I'm sure, went into it, all that. Like, did you ever think the reception would be what it is right now? Like, was top 10 on Netflix ever something that you thought was even a possibility?
Back on the original show?
No, I'm saying like with the Muscles and Mayhem, the documentary.
Yeah, that was the extrinsic goal. I knew there was a huge American Gladiator fan base. It's been 30 years, and I drive down the street and I get some guy honking at me. And he rolls down his window, Nitro. And, it happens. Not in my daily circle. I'm going, my garage gym and but when I get out of my circle, like grocery store or the airport or travel at restaurant, it happens almost every day. So I know there was a huge audience. It was just, amazing, that my partner over at Game 7, my producing partner, that we got, two great directors. We got Jared Hess from Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, and then we got another guy named Tony Vianuku, who did this great show on Netflix. It was about the girlfriend that didn't exist. It was Manti Te'o who got catfished.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a combination of a guy who was funny as fudge, with Jared, and who had the lightness. And then we had a guy who was really good with drama and personal relationships, and Tony. And we got so lucky on this combination of guys to take this idea of, the American Gladiators and turning it, helping turn it into the 5-part docu-series that you see now. And I think what's great about it, and you guys tell me your personal experiences, almost everybody who watches it has some memory when they were younger and used to watch.
Totally. Yeah.
And I was born in like 87. So I remember it as a little, I was a young kid. So I have like these very young, where I'm very young memories of it. And it's an awesome trip down like childhood growing up memory lane. That's what for me, what makes it so cool.
It was the same thing for me. I was born in 89, and I remember being a little kid and seeing it on TV, and so many of the events were erased from my memory. And it's like you start seeing, and it's also like bringing it back, like the treadmill thing you guys ran up with the arrows coming down. Like I totally forgot that existed. And then kind of the zip line thing where you'd move it with your hands. I forgot about that too. And seeing those was like unlocking these deep memories in my brain.
Yeah, I think that's, I think a lot of us, we like to reminisce, and I think why nostalgia is, we all look for that nostalgia because it brings us back to a simpler time, right? A simple time when you were young. You guys were quite young, but it brings you back to that time, or maybe you're playing it in the backyard with your brother. We live in a complicated world right now. There's a lot of great things in this world, but it's a complicated world, and there's a lot of tough things going on, a lot of beautiful things going. But when you can find something that transports you back to that time, I think it's such a memorable thing. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to do with the show. We wanted to bring it back, to a different time where you could go back like a time capsule. But, to me, it was also important to have sex, drugs, steroids, and rock and roll in there.
Right. Right.
I think it was also really important, to be entertaining. And I said, let's do this thing. Here's how it's going to be entertaining. And what the directors did, which was so genius, what Jared's idea is to animate certain sequences.
Yeah, those we talked about the animation. That was good stuff.
Brought life to some of those stories. Yeah.
The bad way now, looking back, is Tanner, you're playing me, in a recreation.
I'd love to see that show, actually. Tanner playing you.
You didn't get the joke.
You cut out for just a second.
Cut out
there,
on us just for a second. Yeah, say that again.
Tanner, you're playing me, and I said, Tommy, you're playing ice.
There we go. Yep. I'm the good-looking one in this scenario.
It was nice. She was great.
That's good. I do have to ask you a couple Gladiators questions. So you probably answered some of these 100 times, but it's still fun. I want to hear. What was your favorite event to do? What was the coolest one?
I can tell you the least favorite.
Yeah, what's that?
It was a fan favorite. Well, this is my second least favorite. The least athletic event to do on American Gladiators, that was a lot of people's favorite, was the assault, the tennis ball cannon.
Yeah.
Man, the tennis ball cannon is so cool. And like, if you're up there as a gladiator shooting it, you're just like, piff, you're pulling a little trigger. Right. Anybody could do it. It didn't take that athletic ability. And then, like, if you lost, like, this wind thing blew your hair back, like Fabio. Like, Fabio's hair was back. So I think the most physically damaging one was human cannonball, where these guys were like 60 feet away up on a platform, and they swing down into you like Tarzan and knock the shit out of you when you're standing on the platform.
I'm not a small guy. I played football, stuff like that. I wouldn't want to be standing. No. You are literally alone on an island just getting rammed into. That's tough. I don't even know how you can be good at that. Hardly. That's tough.
Yeah, you got to be a big guy and just be able to shit. Especially the first couple of seasons, they had guys that are 240, 250 coming at you. By the time they hit you, it's like a Mack truck, and you're just. Then they said like you couldn't deflect with your pad like a bull guy. You had to take the impact. that really sucked. And that was like, if there's only one I was kind of afraid of a little bit, that would have been that one. Was just like, oh shit.
I see that. Mm-hmm.
All right, go up there, just grit your teeth, man down, squeeze your body, and just try to, it's just like someone saying, you know what? I'm going to punch you in the face.
You cool. Stand there.
Just take
yeah, cool. That's like, I think the funnest one was Powerball. Powerball was that game where the contenders stood at each end of like a circle, and on the playing floor, you had these canisters, and they had to take these balls and dump them.
Yeah.
You had to tackle.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
To me, that was like tackle football.
That is like football, right? I mean, that's what that is like to me. Yeah, that's cool.
And that can also hurt. Like in the docu-series, I think in episode 1, the only time I've been knocked out, like
oh yeah, you really got
took a shot.
I took a shot, and the guy was, he played fullback for the Patriot. Craig Williams maybe was his name. He played fullback for the Patriots. He was 250 pounds. He lowered his shoulder. I lowered it. He was running right at me. Bang! Down goes Nitro. Down goes Nitro. People are like, did you go into concussion protocol? It's like, what the hell is that? I actually got back up and tried to tackle people.
Yeah. Who who's the best gladiator of all time? Yourself not excluded from conversation.
For me, gladiators was more than what you did on the field, what you did on the arena floor. Gladiator also meant that you were a personality.
It's like WWE, you know, like Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't one of the best wrestlers of all time just because he had good wrestling moves. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
Right.
Persona meant to it, and it was a fine line to walk because you have a real competition, but yet you have a persona that seems like it's you, but it doesn't go into that area where it's, you know, fake like wrestling. So it's that real fine line. But, you know, as I say that now, I think about all the athletes out there right now. So many athletes now have that, you know, persona. You know, Floyd Mayweather, the guy you love to hate, Conor McGregor, you know, the crazy little English guy, or, whatever it is. You know, the scoring the touchdown and pretending you're calling on your cell phone. So a lot of these gladiators are getting, I mean, a lot of these athletes have this persona. So if you took everything around, I would think, humbly, I probably was the best. But I don't think I was the best athlete, but the best full package. You know, I think Laser Jim Starr was a great athlete and more fierce than I was on the competitive field.
Also jacked out of his mind too.
He was huge.
Yeah. We played strike ball for the Rams together, and we became best buddies quickly. So I know him very, very well. And you know, you saw on the show, Muscles and Mayhem, that he had quite a transformation. You know, he was a guy that would, you know, talk with his fists. I mean, we would be, you know, partying at the Red Onion, which was a club in, you know, SoCal, and having a good time, meeting girls, and all of a sudden I'd look at him, and he'd be looking across the bar, and his jaw would just be grinding. What's up? He's like, hey, you see those guys over there? They're talking about us. Dude, just drink your beer, have a good time. There's girls here, and he would have a beer, but I could just see his shoulders start to crawl up, and he would be looking at him. He's like, dude, look at him. They're laughing at us. And I'd look over, and these guys are just having a good time. It happened so many times. You'd be like, I'm going to go talk to him. And then that meant I'm going to go punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Literally, he walks across the bar, and he's like, what, bam. He was a guy, I mean, and there's so many fights, including we fought each other. I mean, we got into a fist fight in Palm Springs in, you know, the middle of spring break. I was happy to see in his transformation as a human being that he started to understand all that anger was because he didn't get the approval from his father. And once he made peace with his father, he said all that, you know, anger went away like in a drop of a hat. So when you see your friends around you grow, I think as human beings, it makes you, and it made me really, really happy. And that's another reason I was so happy to do this docuseries, because you got to see some people grew and, you know, some people didn't. Some people were able to triumph over their tragedies, and some people can't. Just, you know, so is life.
Right. We know, so we've got this game. We have 1,000 questions we could ask you, but you know, we know you even said you got a lot of stuff you're doing this week, but we do have this one little game we play with every guest, so we got to make sure to get to that. It's called Overrated, Underrated. You can probably guess what we're going to do, but we just got a short list of topics, and it's your job to decide if each one is over or under. The key is you just can't ride the line. You have to pick an overrated or underrated on each one. So
what does this pay?
It's not great.
Better than Gladiators?
Well, it might be about on par with when you first started there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting exploited and taken advantage of the game.
Yeah. If we do action for figures, you also won't get any of that. Yeah. So, okay. So overrated or underrated?
I asked you a question. What's all the T-shirts and stuff behind you?
Oh, that's just part of our company, Massenomics. We just make a bunch of lifting related T-shirts and stuff. What We'll if we get your address, we'll make sure you've got some, and we
Get you a
sell
care
these
package.
these cup holders that go on your squat rack so you don't spill a beverage in the gym and stuff like that. So, oh, you cut out on us for a second there.
What does it say? Natty?
Oh, yeah, yours says natty for life. We actually have one that says natural for life. We'll send you that one as one of them.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, so, with American Gladiators, the big controversy is we didn't get a piece of merchandising, and that's why I left
Right.
the show on American Gladiators. So if I play your game, I want a pice of merch.
Yeah, that's fair. This will be the first one we'll send you. I don't know how well you can see this, but it does say natural for life. So that'll be the first one we send.
You guys are bad.
Okay. All right. So topic number 1, overrated or underrated. We'll go dinner theaters. Overrated or underrated dinner theaters.
Well, we had an American Gladiator dinner theater in Orlando, Florida, after the Gladiators was over. And to me, it was just a disjustice to see this once great show that sold out Madison Square Garden now being put on in this little theater where people are having a pork chop and watching you go on. So I'm going to have to say overrated.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they're kind of I don't know where you'd have to travel to even get to a dinner theater anymore.
Those seem like those were in
Medieval
style for a
times.
while.
Yeah.
Right. And then I guess out here in California, there's the Pirate Times.
Okay. Okay. Overrated or underrated TED Talks?
I think they're underrated. I have a TED Talk.
Yep.
And you know that, a shameless plug.
Yeah.
You can find it on, you can Google it. It's, after the heart attack and the things I learned, I gave you guys just a brief thing. And to me, it's underrated because I think a lot of people don't realize that you can take an expert's knowledge that they spent a lifetime curating and studying, and you could get the overview and gist of it in 12 to 18 minutes.
Yeah. I haven't seen yours yet, but when we get, I'm going to check it out here. I had it on my list and I haven't watched it yet, but I want to check it out. Okay, here's a good one for you. Overrated or underrated Meryl Streep?
Oh, that's a hard one. Yeah, are these specifically for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
Special
special.
handcrafted.
These are the Nitro over-unders. Yeah.
Oh, that becomes her. I think she's underrated. I think she's a gem. I talk about where I did that scene with her and Death Becomes Her, and she came out and she was like, so we have this scene where she enters a room and I'm across from her and she asks me something, and then I have to point her to Isabel Rossellini, who's sitting on the couch. And when she walks in on that scene, we're both dressed. It's just her across from me. She's 5 feet from me. She starts doing this weird thing, like blowing her hair out of her face. And she wasn't doing this in rehearsal. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like method acting. She's blowing her hair out of her face, like she's almost having a stroke. And so I look back at her and I start doing it too. We're both doing this, and she looks at me like oddly. Then she starts the scene. She asks me the question, and after it's over, I go up to her. I said, Meryl, I didn't know what you're doing. That was fantastic. You're doing this, doing this, like blowing this, doing this weird thing. I says, is that method acting? And she looked at me. She said, no, darling. You had a hair in your face, and I was trying to tell you before the scene. I would say she's definitely underrated because she saved my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Last one, overrated or underrated? Friend of yours. We've gotten to chat with him before too. Big Mike O'Hearn, Titan.
I love Michael O'Hearn. He's a pillar of strength. I don't know how he's rated. So I think he's a gem. I think anyone who can look like that for 30 years, it doesn't care if the guy's natty or not. Anybody who can put that much work in and look like that for all these years is a physical specimen and a national treasure. And I think sometimes the conversation, is he on drugs or isn't he on drugs, takes over the conversation of how he looks and how great he looks. So I'm going to say he's underrated. We should love and appreciate Michael Hearn. He's a good man, and it seems like he wants to be a really good dad. So Michael Hearn's underrated. He should be rated higher.
Okay. Good news. We just added up the scores. You did pass overrated, underrated. So that does mean you get in on the merch deal.
Yes, finally, 25 years later, I'm getting a shirt. Reach out to me either email me or reach out to me on Facebook, and I'll give you my address to send a shirt. And you better, I'm going to come and find you.
We do not want that to happen, so we promise we will do it. We talked about the book a little bit, Gladiator. We didn't talk about your other book. Do you want to mention that? You got that behind your back too. And of course, we talked about Muscles and Mayhem. Everyone, we both watched it. Everyone should check that out. We love the show.
The other book is called F Dying. Again, they're both on Amazon. F Dying is the experience after a heart attack and getting a new love for life. Once I got a second chance. I think it's called F Dying: How Cheating Death Kicked My Ass into living, loving, learning, and living my best life. So it's they're both fantastic, and they're both life changing in different ways.
Awesome. We really appreciate you taking the time. I think our listeners are going to love this. We love the lifting talk, the steroid talk, the document behind the scenes on the documentary, and a little bit of the American Gladiator's lifestyle. So it was awesome.
All right, my dudes. Tanner, Tommy, thanks for having me on. I got to jump, man. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thanks
Perfect.
a lot, Dan.
Thank you.
Cool beans! Cool beans. Cool beans!
Big Dan.
Big Dan got the Nitro cool beans, didn't he?
Cool.
Nitro, like, isn't
like
that
a Nitro
coffee drink?
brew. Yeah.
Yeah, Nitro brew.
Yeah.
Yeah, named after Dan, I think.
I think that's where the name comes from. That sounds correct now.
And he's not joking, or we're not joking when we had to. That was our cutoff time because he has another, something else.
He was getting like a phone call.
I was very conscious of the time, and we did end on exactly the right time there. So we did not make him late for his next thing.
He wasn't lying. He is a master talker. We had. We're also not exaggerating. We probably had 30 questions that we did not get to ask him.
I mean, we had another 2 hours worth of discussion here. Honestly,
easy. Yes, easy. There was a lot. I'm not sure we even got through almost our intro questions. So
we definitely didn't ask like half of the stuff we were going to talk about.
No,
but I also knew once we got going that we were only going to get to a few things. That was cool. That was
fun to have someone different like that on. That isn't our typical guest.
I don't know if I was aware of how much he was involved in the documentary.
See, I didn't know that either. I thought maybe he was just a guy that showed up and they asked him some questions. I hadn't realized it was even based around the book that I didn't know that either,
written and everything. So
that's why why whenever we watch a documentary or read a book, we have the guy on so we can really get the inside scoop, right?
That's right. Yeah, we don't just review the documentary; we have the guy on to talk about it. I would recommend, if you haven't seen the show yet, though, you got to check it out. I mean,
5 episodes, 45-ish minutes each. Yeah,
and the stuff we talked about here will just have a lot more context once you see that and see what it was like. I would have loved to talk to him more about the tour and some of the stuff that was going on there.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Maybe next time, right?
Next time we get Nitro on, we'll talk more about that.
I want to see this care package arrive at his house and see what his reaction is.
Yes. We did talk about Ice there, and we have talked to Ice about having her on the show also. So maybe we'll make that happen not too far down the road and maybe hit a separate set of topics for her.
Or the same one, same exact one.
Yeah, it'd just be fun again. I could literally just have that conversation with every one of them on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
That
was fun. That was a lot of fun. Okay. You know what else is fun, Tommy?
What's that?
Did I tell you about SPUD Ink straps?
Oh.
Maybe Big Danny needs some SPUD Ink gear for his home gym. Sounds like he's got a pretty decent home gym setup,
I think so. Yep.
I could have talked to him for 20 more minutes about his home gym setup.
Once you're on the stall mats, you're getting pretty serious, right?
Yep, and he has the 3/4 inch horse stall mats. He knows what he's doing there. SPUD Ink also knows what they're doing. You can check them out at spud-ink-straps.com. They support the show, and we appreciate if you can support them. SPUD Ink started because the lifting straps available at the time were not tough enough to handle the daily punishment that comes with training as a power lifter or as an American Gladiator. So SPUD Ink created their straps to withstand whatever your training puts them through. Finally, their training gear, it just works as hard as you do. So whether you're looking for belts, harnesses, deadlift straps, Pugil sticks, you can find that all at spud-ink-straps.com.
And today's episode,
Not actually Pugil sticks, but that was an American Gladiator.
You can
reference.
imagine what it'd be like if they
If
did.
they'd be yellow.
Well, I don't know. SwissLink, our next sponsor, they might have those on there. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink, right around the time that American Gladiators was starting to wind down a little bit. He founded it with the mission to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine, from Swiss military rangefinders to Italian police tracksuits. SwissLink.com is also home to the SwissLink Classic Wool Blankets. They're an ideal mix of 80% wool and 20% recycled fibers. It's that special blend that provides a luxurious, soft feel while maintaining all the benefits of wool. The designs are reminiscent of brands that rhyme with Schwendelton and Schwudson Bay, but are available at only a fraction of the cost. SwissLink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality service, customer service distinguishes them from the rest. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at SwissLink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS at SwissLink.com to save 15%. Thank you, SwissLink.
Thanks, SwissLink. Oh, what an episode. Well, we're going to have to get him a Natural for Life tee for sure, aren't we?
Yeah, Natural for Life tee, a drink spotter. He'd probably like, some 8-bit designs. Those are kind of from his era a little bit.
That makes sense. Maybe Don't Curl in Me shirt, just because you probably get the humor in that.
Yep.
I could see it all. I could see Nitro in that.
They would all look good on him, I think.
Yeah, he might crop them into some like crazy X design, but
and like bedazzle a star on it. And you're like, whoa, hey.
Some of those uniforms they wore, you kind of took it for granted until they start talking about it, and you're like, yeah, that would be really uncomfortable to be wearing that and doing what you're doing.
Some of the women's ones, I'm just like, how did you not have a wardrobe malfunction every single episode?
Yes. Yeah. No kidding.
The guys basically just had a singlet on, which whatever. But yeah, the women, they had a lot going on with theirs.
They did have a lot going on. And reminder, we've got a lot going on coming this weekend. It's the Massenomics Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic powerlifting event of the millennia. Is that right?
I think so. Oh, we didn't really mention the plan is to have a live stream of some sort.
Yeah,
we're not. I mean, there's not going to be like live commentary or anything like that on it.
Right.
But we are going to at least try to get a camera set up. So if you want to, you can watch along. And I believe it's going to be on YouTube, right? Isn't that our plan?
Yeah, it should be live streamed through the Massenomics YouTube channel. So get over there and get subscribed to that if you're not already. Mm-hmm. We also put out a new YouTube video every single week, so you wouldn't want to miss that. What was this last week? Was the top 10 Jefferson Deadlift video. Check that out. And
we made a permanent page on the website for the Jefferson leaderboard.
That top 10 list. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there will be a live stream. Get over there and check it out. A few people did mention they wouldn't mind commentating, too. So, I don't know. Is that possible? Like,
I mean, we'd have to bring
did you just have a microphone in?
Yeah, we'd have to bring, like, microphones. Well, I guess technically we have microphones, but we'd have to have them set up at the thing, I believe, too.
What would it go through? Can it just go into the camera, though?
Oh, yeah. We could just plug it into the camera. I mean, there's ways around all of this that's doable.
Right.
It's just
we don't know.
Yeah.
At the very least, we're shooting.
Yeah. At the very least, you'll be able to see some stuff.
Yeah. We're not planning on graphics and cutaways and stuff like that. But hopefully, there will be a standing camera that will capture the event that you can tune in on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else we need to tell them about that?
I don't know. That's probably enough for now. We're going to have a lot to say in the coming weeks.
We're going to talk about a lot after it too, aren't we? So, yeah. All right. Congrats to our Jefferson Deadlift winner. I would touch on supporting our supporting members quickly. It's a segment of the podcast where we like to give back to everyone that supports us. You can become a supporting member if you'd like to. Head over to our website. It's massenomics.com/join. That's where you can see all the different options, the different levels. Get signed up. You get stuff like access to our exclusive Discord community, which is full of like-minded individuals who are out over there having a silly goose time. having fun, talking about lifting, talking about whatever they want to. You can get on that with them. You get a discount code to our website. You can buy some of this merch that we now have to pay royalties to Nitro. And you get early info on what we're doing. You get behind the scenes look at Massenomics. And every week we like to give back to those people. So this week we're giving back to Joel Wilhelm. He competed in a powerlifting meet, and he totaled 1747.
Damn.
I don't have the breakdown of his numbers, but that's a big meet total for Big Joe.
Around.
No, that's not messing around at all. And then special shout out just to everyone, all the supporting members that participated in the Jefferson Deadlift competition. It was a supporting member driven competition in many ways, in the way that a lot of the submissions came from supporting members, well over half of them. So thank you to all of you that participated. Sorry if you didn't all win, but at least a whole bunch of crew did get to win. So you can be happy for them. Don't be sad that you didn't win. Be happy that you did win, because you are crew. Mm-hmm. So you all kind of won. And then lastly, check out Big Jake this week. Big Jake from State Farm is the guest on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. That comes out tomorrow, so make sure to give that a listen. As this comes out, it is available. So check out Big Jake and see what he's all about. I'm excited to listen.
Me too.
Let's bring this one on, bring it on home. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.